So what's going on, people? I am back. Well, it's coming to the weekend, so it's nothing new from us. So let's do something with today. Today we're going to focus on one of my favourite ships, not the most favourite ship, but it is in the mix. My most favourite one. Today we're going to be looking at the Prometheus. So let's load that one up. That is currently the Prometheus as it is today. Yeah, this ain't going to fit on the screen pretty well at the moment. Well, just look at it. It looks absolutely perfect, doesn't it? When you looked at the Voyager series, you see the Prometheus. You get the EMH Mark 4 and the Mark 1. Or it Mark 2? I think it's could be Mark 2. They both retake the ships, obviously. And during the end, to defeat the Romulans, they engage multi-vector assault mode, which separates every single ship. Well, part of the ship. You get the Alpha, the Beta, and obviously the third section, which each one has a tactical side to it, so it has more firepower and so on. And to its systems, you got the science to do like more shield science stuff and all that other jazz. And you have the engineering department, which consists of your engineering department, so repairs, so it'll be able to stay in that section will remain in the battle longer than most of the parts. So let me just bring up the multi-vector assault mode. So as we can see here, not the best picture, is it? Get your top, get your middle, and then your drive, should I say. I've got to run with it. So I believe that how it was, okay, I'll think of how it still is. Because I bought it on Star Trek Online. The saucer part used to be the tactical part. The drive section used to be your engineering part, and the middle part was just your science-based stuff. So obviously, I'm guessing it's shield. Drive section used to be engineering, and your main tactical damage point was on the saucer. But I believe that how it should be is the drive section should be where your tactical part is. I could be wrong, but I believe that's where most of your damage is, because I believe that's where the torpedoes are located. So I guess that's where most of that should be. So as we all know, as my favourite ship on the entire Star Trek, so almost said Star Wars and flipping on. Yeah, they'll get arguing with me. Right, go home for a bit. Right. It's what brought it so unique. You got, instead of the galaxy, which I'm going to bring up now. Where we gone? There we go. Let's see them together. It just look pixelated for some reason. I don't get it. Just made it. So we're going to bring this up. Okay, wherever it wants to go. There we go. With the Galaxy class, obviously, the only thing that you saw was source separation. You saw it in what was that episode called? The TNG. Best of Both Worlds, where you see Riker source separated. The saucer had antimatter spread, commanded by Commander Shelby and Captain Riker. So everything to do with that, there were the main two systems to have that type of setup, the Enterprise. But there's one thing I actually learnt on on some Galaxy class ships, which is a bit odd. The USS Galaxy, the Enterprise, I can't remember the Challenger. Yeah, it's the Challenger to be even if once in an alternate timeline, even though you don't get to see it. I'm trying to figure out. There's only one more galaxy. I can't remember what the name is. We're able to use different variants to it. One was only able to use source separation. One was only allowed to use antimatter spread without the source separation. The other one was just gets it all. That's what you had, the Enterprise and the Galaxy, and the Enterprise was able to do both of them. I believe it was the Odyssey that we saw in DS9. There was something that came across my recent feed about the Odyssey, which I thought was very interesting. With the Odyssey, that couldn't source separate, nor could it use antimatter spread. So, how it was all built, source separation and antimatter spread didn't go on all Galaxy class starships. Now, I found that a bit interesting when I was reading it out with a few people that were commenting on it. So I was like, okay, it's a bit interesting. A Galaxy class that can't use source separation or antimatter spread of any kind. But I'm guessing they built it for more of a heavy cruiser, and if it kept it even more of a solid based. And yes, kill it. You can call it a floating duck or a floating swan. But this is why I love my ship. Let me just bring it out. See if we can get it. See if we can get it out. Where is it? There it is. If not, it's a bit massive aid. Flip it on. Could be all day. Cool. Yeah, they need to let me do stuff to this. This is flipping huge. There we go. Right. Yes, Kiddick. I brought it in. I love this thing. It's absolutely amazing. The USS Enterprise refit, shall we say, the Galaxy X, the Dreadnought T6, or well, this is the T5 variant on Star Trek Online. So now let's bring this into a more realistic point. Reason why I like this is because it was just unique. It has a massive cannon in the front, as obviously that thing tore through the Negvar ship with these. But a lot of people, more the popular, hates this ship. They just hate this ship, and I'm wondering why. The thing is badass. And before you do anything, hold on. Let me just bring this up. Let me just get rid of that. Where is it? Should be on me. Just load it up. Right, let's just load this up, because this is going to get very interesting. Right, yes, it has fins. Why? Well, maybe want to take up some swimming lessons in space. You never know. Or maybe it could just be a control to obviously increase the nacelles, or a control point for the nacelles. Because obviously they've got a third nacelle. There is a middle nacelle. You can't see it in this picture. But you got a nice little cannon. It's just absolutely amazing. The ventral phaser. I think there's only one, isn't there? You have one ventral phaser. You got the main one on the top. But this was like the main cannon. It was like the main focus point of it all. So the reason why I love this ship as well is because obviously when I saw it in when I researched this back in the day, this ship was amazing. There was nothing like it. When I put source separation on it, and I'm like, now this is going to be very, very interesting. So source separation on the Star Trek Online, you get the saucer which has a phaser lance and a few other things. It gets to fire torpedoes, tractor beam. Does it get a tractor beam? No, it gets torpedoes. The Odyssey source separation gets a tractor beam. Makes it very unique. So you got your drive section, the main section of the ship, which is your most tactical side. It's got all the weapons, but you had two phaser lances to play with. The one on the saucer and the one on the drive section. The one on the drive section, which is just missing this circle part, it's a wide beam, and with your source separate, when it source separates, it's exactly like you see in the film, just without the drive section. It just fires, even though it's a bit weaker. But there's ways of getting that to ample up nicely. The reason why I brought both of them ships to the stream today is that they made everything unique. One, the Prometheus was an experimental ship, and a lot of people are going to hate me for this. It could take out the Defiant, and I do believe, not with these, but I will believe it would have done it because of the multi-vector assault mode. For the Defiant to actually win, it'd have to completely destroy the Prometheus, but at the point of the Prometheus, everything was very different. It was all different. It had the most advanced weaponry. It was the fastest ship. It had new technology that weren't even made. There's actually an audible on and a novel obviously on the Prometheus, which is something I'm going to look into. But at the height of the Prometheus, there's no way on this planet can anybody say that I could be wrong. The Prometheus was already commissioned to fight the Dominion. And the Prometheus didn't see any type of battle unless it was with the Romulans when it got captured. The blueprints were there. I think there was supposed to be another one being built during the time of the Dominion War. But the Prometheus lay back on the sidelines because it weren't properly tested. But as we all stand now, the Prometheus is a nice looking ship. Now everyone's going to say, I'd take this, to be honest, over the Galaxy X. Because this one's canon, where the Galaxy X isn't. But I'll still take the Galaxy X over everything. It makes everything unique, and it made everything a lot better to choose from. The Defiant had its flaws, as we saw. It was overpowered for its size. It was supposed to be something that was supposed to have been to fight the Borg. But when it came to the Prometheus, I believe it was a well-rounded ship. It was something that was tested, well, not fully tested, but designed well. It had weaponry more advanced than most ships in the Federation fleet, which it did. But what makes it so unique is Let me just pull up that last picture. Where is it? Makes it so unique. Is it around here? No, it's not around here. What makes it so unique I believe this ship would have won us the war in the Dominion. The Dominion had nothing that could compare to what the Prometheus was. There's nothing like it. In the Dominion's arsenal, there was nothing. The only thing that the Dominion had was a lot more firepower, and it was all controlled through, obviously, a dictatorship. The only reason why this would have won us the war is because it was never on foil, and due to the amount of flipping, I wish I did a more detailed into the Dominion War. It was something that was never on foil, something that was never going to be looked into, and it was a brand new design. Even though on the experimental registry it should say NX. But what makes it better for any type of situation today that even if it was to be used in a Dominion War, there would have to be quite a lot of them. There'd have to be loads. They would need a plan to obviously test it out properly against like a Dominion battle group, definitely, because just every time you split something up, when you're decreasing it by 50%, as we saw in the Galaxy in the first episode of TNG, and what it says on Star Trek Online. Once you split that ship, the HP goes down by 50%. So when you're splitting the Prometheus more than 3 times, you're splitting it 3 ways. The armaments it had were just photon torpedoes, phaser rays, just like a normal standard setup. It probably would have been able to deploy quantum torpedoes like you saw on the Enterprise E in First Contact, but that was never there in First Contact. It was there at Voyager at the end episode, but it was never used in First Contact. The Enterprise E was capable of having source separation. The Prometheus was able to split it with 3 multi-vector assault mode, and so did the Enterprise D. It had source separation, but with everything that was laid out for the Prometheus, it needed a lot more testing, or it was going to be rushed like the Defiant was when it was brought back from Planitia shipyards by Cisco. Something that was to fight the Borg, and it was just rushed. The design was rushed, wasn't planned out properly, and neither was the Prometheus. It was just something that could be experimented to go top speed. This is kind of like the Sphere in like the Borg. It's a long range tactical vessel. It's not for reconnaissance. It's just long range tactical vessel. That's what it's for. It's a warship. And yes, let's just bring Killick back into this. Killick, come on. Just because the Enterprise D is a luxury cruise, mate. So it's a nice relaxing place just to sit down and have a cup of tea. It ain't biscuits, and Floki, they are biscuits. They're not cookies, they're biscuits. So, I also saw another thing, and I'm going to answer this question. If the Prometheus was released in the middle or at the end, well, let's say more or less in the middle, Starfleet would have not have won the war, but they would have had to find a way to use the Prometheus the best way possible. But don't forget the Bream torpedoes that the Bream used. They disabled the Defiant. They disabled Romulan ships. They just couldn't get through the Klingon ships due to apparently rephasing of the warp coils or something like that. I think I saw it right on an episode. If they brought the Prometheus in, the war wouldn't have took as long as it did. Because it had adaptive systems which could adapt to any frequency in the shield, any frequency with weaponry. And it had the most advanced tactical systems in the Federation. It had most advanced computer, phasers, torpedoes, comms array, sensors, and everyone goes to it and goes, it's actually quite not a bad looking ship, but they gotta look at it, look at the detail. The Prometheus was a warship. The Galaxy class was just a cruiser. Good looking cruiser, but just a cruiser. Well, your ambassador was a cruiser. It was a heavy cruiser, your ambassador. So your Galaxy class was your battleship of that time. It was the battleship. The most advanced, well, the most armed and dangerous ship at the time of the Dominion War is the Defiant. Or Defiant class, let's say. As you saw, it could take out an Excelsior class ship with ease. Well, it did have its troubles, but it's still with ease. It had a cloak. It could sneak up, do what it needed to. Well, obviously that's how they get around the Jem'Hadar ships and the rest of the Dominion colonies. Get land from the Romulans. It's just the one thing that the Prometheus lacked, I believe, was more just needed more tanking, in my best opinion. It just needed a lot more tanking. But I believe I think that's how it works. If you're on the bridge of the Prometheus, it already knows each and every enemy of the Romulans, the Borg, Cardassian, so it would know how to fight each one because it already has previous experience. Just trying to look at something. So yeah, it became more an advanced design because when you look at the Enterprise Z to the D, it doesn't have a full round phaser. It's all split up, just like the E's. It's all split up underneath. So instead of you needing one phaser array just to cover the whole ship, you can have two two. They're on strips, so they're just a phaser strip at the top, and obviously one's at the bottom as well. But I'm gonna leave that for today. Will I be looking more into the Prometheus? Maybe not, because there's not a lot really to cover in most of its design, which I'm currently aware of. This ship was warp 9.9 summit, or warp 0.998, something like that. You were on the void. It was the fastest ship ever to be made by Starfleet as well, so it could get to any sector a lot more quicker than most ships, and that's what made it very unique as well. Well guys, hope you enjoyed it, because I wouldn't be on too long. What are we on? 26 minutes, flipping on. But I'm glad that you've managed to jump in. Actually, Nathan, let me just say this to you. You wish it was harder to disable as well. The problem is that the Prometheus' tactical array was exposed. It's at the bottom, directly at the bottom. It's like the Enterprise D. The 10 forward part at the bar was directly at the front, which is a bit of a stupid design. It needed a new layout, in my best opinion as well. It's just a triangle. It's like flying the Pyramid of Giza, you know what I mean, at the front here. But one thing I'd love to do more of is to look more into ships, which is something we're also looking at on a bigger scale. Because now that I've actually got a technical manual of the Enterprise D, we will be covering a lot of that as well. We'll be looking at the offensive, defensive systems, and there's a part to, see, there's, at the moment with the technical manual as well, everything's been redesigned as well. A lot of it's changed. The new one's just coming out this year, and it has more detail, but some of the sections of the ship have been added and some of them are missing, so we'll have to find out what's missing and what isn't. But for the next podcast, for an actual first podcast, we're going to be with Nathan Venom, our one and only, or Floki. So we'll be definitely get some great captains on, talk about what they've been doing on Star Trek Online and see what they need help with. But probably more debates on Federation politics, so it could be fun. Well guys, I'm gonna have to love you and leave you. Hope you all guys stay safe, and if not, actually I'll see you this weekend. I'll see you on the weekend, so Floki should be joining us, so if Nathan wants to join us, you can. So guys, stay safe, and I'll see you in another video. Well, another stream.